I'll tell you.
Got you.
Yeah,
So where we gonna park at?
yeah. I
We
mean,
paying
man,
$50. We gonna pay the 50. I mean, it's gonna.
pay-
The funny thing is, the league gonna be down there. It's Monday Night Football. The league is gonna be there. They gonna shut down a lot down there.
yeah,
A lot of places. You and I and other Lions fans are used to parking. Low key places. They
yeah,
gonna shut them boys down.
yeah. They have a
Barrels.
big ESPN truck sitting dead on Grasher. You know what I'm saying?
Say,
Yeah, man.
gotta pay this.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. They taxing us, but yeah, man. You look at this game, man. This is, I think me and you both agree. Super huge game, man. I mean, I don't think that this has been. Obviously, this is not the end all be all if they don't win this game, but it's a situation where you want to see them win. I mean, you want to see them win this game. This is a team that's on par with them talent wise. You know what I'm saying? Because we've kind of been gauging, how the Lions. This I don't even want to say it's a quick rebuild. The Seahawks and the Lions kind of been on the same pace for a couple years. As far as like status and progression. Seattle does have a new head coach. You got Mike McDonald here on the screen. Very familiar with Mike McDonald. From being here at Michigan. Defensive coordinator, defensive minded coach. I think it was a great hire by Seattle. I
Had the
mean,
number one defense in football with Baltimore
yeah,
last year.
yeah, yep. And Seattle, that's what they're built on, man. So it's going to be a test. I really do think that this team has been a thorn in our side. We haven't beaten Seattle since 2012. I think it's been crazy how they've just
Titus
it's just
Young and Stafford and
yeah,
Brandon
Stafford,
Pettigrew and all them boys.
Brandon
I think it
Pettigrew.
was Russell Wilson rookie year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, to 2012. That's right. Yep. We beat them here. I think it was 28-24, something like that. I had to look it up and see because it was like, man, I couldn't remember the last time we beat the Seahawks. You know what I'm saying? And they beat us in the playoffs too. One year we went up there and played. So this is the team that's 3-0 right now. Seattle, them and Minnesota come in NFC, the only two undefeated teams. And I think this is going to be the kind of year it is, Walt. I don't think, like you said, I don't think it's going to be a team that's going to be 15-2. I think these teams going to beat up on each other, man. I think every team in NFC is highly competitive. Listen,
The playing field is even because there's
yeah,
not that many. There's elite quarterbacks, but there's not these big time Even though let me say this, there's big time Hall of Fame talent at the quarterback position.
yeah,
But if
yeah,
we talking about guys who are actually out there getting it done, teeth and nails, no matter what, getting their teams to these wins, getting these teams to the playoffs every year. There's only two of them really, and
yeah.
that's Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Like they the only two that's really out there year in year out willing their teams to the playoffs. Everybody else look kind of flaky right now.
Uh huh.
So with the quarterback competition around the league being so even right now, I think that's a huge reason why we're seeing the parity in the league right now too.
Yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right. Um, the only thing, we could just talk about maybe Seattle for a minute before we get into the
Yeah.
injury report. Seattle. Let's listen. They had their way last week with Miami, as they should, because Miami's kind of still feeling after effects of the Tua thing. I think Miami's a decent squad. They're not like a doormat team or anything like that without Tua. I think they could win a couple games, but essentially, I mean, they got some figuring out to do. So I could see them taking advantage of a Miami team on a short week for Skylar Thompson. You know what I'm saying? Kind of not knowing the playbook all the way. So I can see them take advantage of them. They listen. Seattle went to New England, beat the Seahawks. I mean, beat the Patriots. And then they took care of Denver the first week of the season. So the one eye dropping thing to me is the way. Not eye dropping, because Geno Smith has always been a guy that has thrown the ball. That's been his character, you know what I'm saying, to throw the football. But he's been throwing it a lot. I think that lately he's been really throwing it a lot the last couple of weeks, and I think that's going to play in the Lions' hands. I really do. I think, with those two running backs, Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker, which I like both them guys. Man, they got a good team talent-wise, Seattle. I like Seattle a lot. But what I'm getting at is it's like I think the Lions they right now we hanging our hat on defense, right? And I think that even though without Marcus Davenport, I think Aaron Glenn can still. We've seen Aaron Glenn make this thing work, man, with limited resources, and I think that they can disguise some things. I don't know. Geno Smith is a veteran. I don't know how much you're going to be able to confuse him, you know what I'm saying, and try to disguise some stuff. But that's really not what the Lions do. I think the Lions want to play man with Terry and Arnold. It's going to be very fun to watch to see who's going to take up the responsibility to take DJ Metcalf, who's just like he a cross between like Terrell Owens and AJ Brown. I mean, I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? He a freak, man. He a different guy. He a different dude, man. And I think DK has gotten better every year. I like DK a lot too. I don't know if this is going to be a over game. Over unders, ironically, 46. We've seen the last two games. Remember, it was a 48-45 game, 37-31 game.
I
I
think
don't
both
know.
teams are different now, though.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
A different situation now, Walt. So I don't think that if I had to take, oh boy, at 46, a hard number. I'm still going to say the game could be over, though. I don't know if it's going to be in a 30, but I see a 27-23 game or 27-24, something like that. Close game. I just think that, like you said, I'll let you take it away as far as the game plan right quick. I think our path to victory is to pressure Geno Smith. And I think if they come in with that approach and try to throw the ball on us, I don't know if that's going to work this time, man. I think the Lions going to be ready for it. So
Yeah, I agree 100%. Mainly with that last point. Right now, Hutchinson is number one in the league in sacks. He's number one in the league in hurries. Last week against Miami, and that Seattle's offensive line, even though they did invest two high draft picks season before last in two tackles and Cross and Abram
yeah,
from Washington State, those two guys have been hurt a lot, and even when they've been in there, their play has been like really inconsistent.
yeah,
Miami was able to pressure that dude 45% of the time last week and
yeah.
get to him, and they pressured him into two interceptions. So I
That's right.
think that's something that Detroit is going to really try to hang their hat on this week. We've been able to really create a lot of pressure the first 3 weeks of the season on these quarterbacks that we faced. You can argue we play better quarterbacks, we play better teams so far than Seattle has overall.
Yeah,
And, we've been able to get home. Aiden, for the main factor, he's been able to get home a lot. So I think that right there is something that we can hang our hat on. Now, the one thing about that is this. We don't know what we're going to see from this team Monday night because some guys aren't there. Barnes won't be there. Davenport won't be there.
right
Um,
now.
I'm I'm pretty sure Elaine McNeil probably won't be there.
Yeah,
So is this going to be the same pressure team that we saw the first 3 weeks of the season? So that's a huge question I think we have to ask ourselves as Lions fans. Now, defensively, I think for us, if you look at what Seattle really likes to do, and I'm going to go to some numbers real quick on Seattle because for Seattle defensively, sorry, I want to start out with them defensively. If you look at Seattle defensively, they're number one in the league against the pass, which isn't any surprise at all. You and I consistently pat them on the backs about that defensive backs room they got over there. They're
yeah,
second in the league in touchdowns given up. So they're stopping the passing yards and they're not letting teams get into the end zone through the air as well. I think that's something that could be rough for us, considering how much we struggled throwing the ball the first few weeks of the season. And we struggled to crack 20 points as well the first 3 weeks of the season. Now,
mm-hmm.
rushing. This is where we can have an advantage over Seattle because they are right now 15th in the league against the run. They're also ninth. Actually, they're 17th in attempts, giving up also. And like I said, they're giving up 4.5 yards per carry.
Yeah,
Anybody going into a game against us offensively and you're that bad against stopping the run, they're not bad. They're kind of middle of the pack right
yeah,
now through 3 games.
yeah, yeah,
It's going to be rough. it's going to be rough. You have to also view the fact that teams haven't been running the ball against them too much. They've been up in some games.
Yeah.
And that's why Seattle right now, they've been attacked 22nd most in the league and through the air. So I think for us, we have to really stick to the game plan this week. I think it's going to be an ugly game. In order for us to beat Seattle, I think it has to be an ugly game. We don't want to attempt to get into a shootout. I think if Goff throws the ball 55 times this week, we're done. If anything, we need 55 rush attempts.
Yeah.
Because we really, our advantage is not attacking that team downfield.
Yeah.
Our advantage, I think, is pretty much best suited for what we do well, which is our horizontal offense. Are we going to attack them sideline to sideline? Can I see at least maybe 5 wide receiver screens this game? Maybe 2 to JMO, 1 or 2 maybe to St. Brown. Let Raymond get involved a little bit. You want to make sure you keep these guys north-south. I mean, east, but anyway, east-west. You want to make sure you keep those guys east-west, because if you want to actually go out there and try to spread them out and throw the football, you're playing into their hands.
Yeah.
Those corners are too good. And if we're talking about our wide receiver core versus their quartet of DBs, there's no matchup. St. Brown, really good player. Jamison Williams, really good talent. But now you're talking about Tariq Woolen. You're talking about Devin Witherspoon. You're talking about the safety play they got back there in Quandre Diggs. There's a lot going on for Seattle right now in that secondary that doesn't really play into our hands. So therefore, I think the best option for us offensively, run the ball. If it takes 35 carries, if it takes 36, ball control, run the football. And as you said, pressure Geno. One thing we've noticed about Geno, whether it was New York Jets Geno, New York Giants Geno, current under Pete Carroll Geno from the last 2 years, or even Mike McDonald Geno for that matter. Geno is going to be Geno. Geno has his success through the play action. When Seattle's running the ball really well and they can get the play action going downfield, Geno's really good.
Yeah.
When Geno has 4 bad games in a row, 5 bad games in a row, typically if you go to the numbers that correlate with that for him over the last few years or throughout his career, is because the teams he's been on haven't been able to run the football. Similar to what we may go through with Jared Goff, but the difference is we've always been able to run the football. Since they first took over, even when Deuce Staley was here, they took over, they immediately unlocked the rushing attack, and we were able to run the football for the most part.
Yeah.
So, like I said, pressure Geno. Make sure you stop the run. And why wouldn't we stop the run? We've been stopping the run the last couple of years. We've been stopping the run the first 3 weeks of the season. So I expect us to be able to stop the run against Seattle. Their offensive line has been shaky as well.
Yeah.
Now, if we're just looking at man for man, on paper talent, Seattle really got it going on right now. They've always had it going on, but the execution isn't there. They've got some guys that have underperformed at the line of scrimmage for them overall.
Yeah.
And like I said, while I think beating Seattle is a tall task, because as Lions fans, I understand all of us want to believe our team is going to win every single week. And we feel like by default, we have to pick them to win every single week. And I'm more and you're more about being honest about the team. If we feel like they're not going to win a game, we'll come out and say it. But with Seattle, I just feel like it's too tall of a task this week. I will say this. I think if we win, it's going to be because of us being at home. A lot of times you can be an injured team. You may not be the most talented team, but sometimes you can ride that home crowd wave in a big moment like that. I'm going to pick them to win, and I'm going to pick them to win because I believe it's going to be an ugly game. And we've shown that we can ugly up a game if we have to. That's one thing Dan Campbell has shown us about his culture that they have built here, offensively and defensively. They're willing to win however they need to win. They don't have to throw the ball constantly. They don't have to run the ball constantly.
Yeah.
They're willing to take what you're willing to give them. And they're willing to go out there and play ugly football and win.
Yeah.
I'm going to roll with Detroit. I'm going to take the under as well. I got it somewhere around 20-17, maybe 17-14 Detroit. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. A lot of times people think Monday Night Football, high wire act, throwing the ball all over the field. I think both secondaries as well are going to play pretty well. I just don't think Seattle's going to be able to handle our rushing attack.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that right there is going to be us and our trump card in this matchup. So, like I said, I'm going to say Detroit 17-14, 17-16, somewhere around that factor.
So you got Detroit under and not covering the points, right?
Right.
Okay, so I want the Lions. I got over. I think they're gonna cover the 3.5. So I think they're gonna win by 4. But I do got this game over again. Not that I think it's gonna be like the past games, but I just think it's gonna be in the high 20s. I do. Like you said, now how is no evidence of
What up, Trey?
what up, Trey? There's no evidence of the way the Lions have played to suggest that they're gonna break out this week. But this just got all the makings of this is what I see. I see Geno Smith maybe under duress. I could see a couple interceptions our way. I can see us capitalizing and making them pay for their turnovers. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. Giving us a short field, the crowd's going to be amazing. I think Seattle gonna listen. For everybody that says Seattle got talent, so do we.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think it used to be the scales used to be kind of tipped in their favor a little bit, but now I think it's we got just as much talent in Seattle. You know what I'm saying? Our quarterbacks will wash itself. I think what's gonna win the game is the little things. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, being able to convert on third down. Especially in the red zone. What's the Lions been? They were 1 for 7, I think, last week or something like that. They've been struggling in the red zone
against Tampa. They were better last week. They converted 6 of them last week.
Yeah, but you don't have to do you don't need to do. This is what's concerning for me when you're trying to do trick plays and you're trying to do it in the red zone. That's concerning to me. That means you're pulling everything for the kitchen sink because you can't score. You know what I'm saying? And I
feel like we're talented enough now. When y'all was doing that year 1 of the rebuild,
yeah,
I understood. When you was doing it year 2 of the rebuild, I understood. This offense is too talented right now for us to still be trying to generate big plays through trick plays.
Yeah,
that shouldn't be something that you're still consistently leaning on.
Yeah. Yep. And let's be honest. I think Ernie Allison, you can put his comment up while I think he's a Seattle fan. And he even said, I mean, I think, it would be idiotic to try to outscore this team, but
in this current state, yeah.
Exactly. It just to me, this is what I see. I just think the Lions are much smarter, a much more well run defensively. I just believe that we could cause. See, Geno Smith was damn near flawless the last couple times he's been here. He didn't make the big mistake. You know what I'm saying? He didn't make any crazy, Will Levis type. I'm just throwing his names. He's the worst guy I think about. This ain't about to be a Will Levis show, but you know what I'm saying? You ain't.
Will Levis always finds a way to make his way into one of our streams, man.
Yeah, Seattle they were just a better team. They were out physical us. They were out talent us, and then at the end it was like they would score, get up 20 on us. We'd score a couple touchdowns, like they were kind of lulling us to sleep, and then they step on the gas again. You know what I'm saying? They were that good, but now
we also couldn't stop the run the last time we played them. We give them like over 200. The last 2 games, matter of fact, against Seattle, we were giving up damn near 200.
Yeah, because I think Kenneth Walker had a good game too.
Carson had a huge game against us a couple games ago.
Oh man, that 37-31, that 48-45 game, I remember that one. And our quarterback was the one making the mistakes. I remember the 48-45 game golf through,
Tariq Woolen had the pick 6.
Yeah. So I think that now I'm just saying, I think the role's going to be reversed this week. But I think it's going to be a hell of a game. It's a great measuring stick for our team, man, because I think, like I said, Seattle, it's not an empty 3-0. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to take anything away. I was talking to somebody this week and say, oh, well, they haven't beat nobody. Denver's not very good. New England's not very good. You know what I'm saying? And Miami's not very good. But Hey, listen, and just what Trey said, just right now, I don't think they can outfit. I don't think any team can just come and muscle us right now. You know what I mean? So let's see how it goes. I mean, I'm very excited. I just want to get to the injury report real quick. From what I see, Walt, it looks like Sam Laporta. He practiced yesterday, Friday. Usually, if you practice Friday, you play. Usually the trend I always see. Dan Skipper returned to practice Friday. And Lee McNeil was upgraded full practice. He may be a game time decision, Walt. And Lee might play, you know what I'm saying, as well as Levi Onzarike. Same thing, upgraded full practice. Anzalone was in concussion protocol, and he could play. Brian Branch is up in the air. He did practice Friday as well. Enos Rakestraw, I'm getting kind of concerned. I haven't seen Enos the last 2 weeks. It looks like he's a nagging hamstring. He may not play. You know what I mean? Efeto Malifonwu, same thing. He's been MIA. That's kind of concerning. Malifonwu ain't even practicing, bro. It's been a while. So he probably not going to play, and Frank Ragnow definitely not going to play. So we got some injuries. Davenport's on the shelf now. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be interesting to see what approach the Lions take in this game defensively. Like now without Davenport, this thing that does our scheme change just a little bit? You know what I'm saying? Is Aaron Glenn going to blitz more? Which I know they killed us in the blitz the last couple years. And what's the kid from Ohio State receiver?
And
Damn,
Jigba.
yeah, damn good route runner. If they blitz, I mean they'll be in trouble with him. They're gonna have their hands full. So to me, man, we got a four, and I would welcome if Geno Smith threw the ball 40 times again. You know what I'm saying? Because just like golf throwing it 50 times, that's not a recipe for the Lions to win any game. You know what I'm saying? I think the same thing's for Seattle. I think if Seattle fans can agree with that to an extent, play to your strengths. So
Yeah. Um, Couple things I do want to point out about Seattle, at least competition wise. If you look at them the first 3 weeks of the season, they did play against Bo Nix. They played against whichever stiffs New England was throwing out there, and then they did catch Miami. Even though I'm not a big Tua fan, you still talking about Skylar Thompson.
yeah,
So, considering the fact that the pass defense was number one in the league after 3 weeks against those three quarterbacks and those three offenses, has to be something that has to be taken into account as well. We've struggled to crack 20 points. We scored at least 20 points in regulation the first 3 weeks of the season.
yeah,
And then by coincidence, you look at Seattle against Denver, they gave up 20. Against New England, they gave up 20. And then
yeah,
Miami only managed 3 points against them.
yeah,
So, those are all things that probably those are all things that should be factored in. Seattle, they played three struggling offenses the first 3 weeks of the season. Our offense is currently struggling right now, at least pass game wise, explosive play wise, has been struggling. And one thing I have noticed from watching Seattle the first 3 weeks of the season is that if you can't generate big plays against them and you're just going to methodically just paper cut your way downfield against them, they will take the ball away. They had two takeaways in week one against Denver, and they had two takeaways last week against Miami. So, like I said, statistically, I think there's our statistics that bode in our favor heavy, and I think there's statistics that bode in their favor heavy. Miami, not Miami, New England. New England put forth a conscious effort to run the ball on them, and New England ran for 185 on them. Miami couldn't get the run game going. They ran for 65 yards on it because they couldn't even get the pass game going. Like Miami couldn't get a damn thing going last week against them. And then you're talking about Denver week one. Denver really doesn't run the ball too much. They're still trying to figure things out. You got Bo Nix out there as a rookie quarterback. We're the best team they've played this far. Now, you can argue whether Seattle's the best team we played this far. Uh, we lost to Tampa. Denver beat Tampa for that matter, and Seattle beat Denver. So it's like the Rams are the Rams better than Seattle? We don't know. Over the long run, Seattle may prove to be better than the Rams. I don't know. I think the Rams have a better quarterback situation than Seattle has. You can argue Seattle has the better roster overall,
yeah,
but Rams had a better quarterback situation. I mean, better quarterback situation as well as head coach. So overall, man, I think this is just going to be a very interesting game. This is the third Lions Seahawks game I've been to in my life. It seems like every time I'm giving tickets, it's always Seattle on the schedule for some odd ass situation. But
Yeah, this is how talented they are. I'm just gonna read some names here. And
mm-hmm.
offense, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith, and Jibba. Jake Bobo, who made some plays. They also got Shenault Jr. at receiver.
Oh,
They
Leo
also,
Chenault.
yeah, yep, Leo Chenault. They got no Lavisca Chenault. You talking about Leo Chenault from Chiefs?
Oh
That's
yeah, from the
the
Chiefs.
yeah,
Laviska Chenault that went to
Chenault. Yeah, he played at
Colorado. Yeah,
Carolina last year. Yeah,
yeah,
for a stint. Okay, Noah Fant at tight end. They got a decent squad, man. Laken
yeah,
Tomlinson, I think he's banged up. Charles Cross, you mentioned him. Connor Williams at center. I remember that's the same Connor Williams that played with Dallas for a couple
yep.
years. Damn good center. They got a good squad. I want to get to the back end a little bit here. We did misspeak with Quandre Diggs. Kobe Bryant is
Yeah,
who
you
I
know what it
always think
was?
about.
Every time, but I've been thinking like him and old boy gone. Adams.
Yeah,
It just so
Jamal
happened
Adams.
last couple years, every time I thought about Seattle, I thought about Quandre Diggs.
Yeah, yep, damn good player. That's what you think about. Jordan Love is at safety too as well. I think Julian
Oh,
Love played at
Julian
Notre,
Love.
Notre Dame, right? I think he
Yeah.
was Notre Dame. Yeah, so that's not real intimidating. Having Julian Love, I don't think he's that great at safety. Rayshon
He a good
Jenkins as
player.
well.
I'll say that
Um,
he's a pretty good player. He was with
Kayvon
the
Wallace
Giants.
is the guy I looked up because I had to look up who he was. Okay, Kayvon Wallace looks like he may not play or he's doubtful or something for this game at free safety. So they got some injuries too, not as significant as the Lions it seems, but every team's going to go fight through injuries, man. You know what I'm saying? And if you if you start the season and end the season with your quarterback, I mean, I think you've been fortunate. Look at already, we've seen Jordan Love hurt and is going to miss some extended time. We've seen a situation with Tua. We've seen Trevor Lawrence stinking up the joint, might get pulled if he keeps
And
it
he
up.
not even hurt.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean. So what I'm getting at is it's like, when you have a quarterback and everything's, still running where you're not like fine tuning the offense where you got to say, okay, we got to run the ball every play because our guy don't even know the playbook, that type of thing. So I think right now you're fortunate. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think Josh Allen's having such a huge start to the season. Quarterback play is still key, man. You know what I mean? But I do think the NFL is changing. It's a fine line. It's where I think defense is going to start back. Remember how it was offense, and I think
Yeah.
you're going to have to score in key spots. I think the second half of this game is going to be huge. The Lions under Dan Campbell hasn't been a good second half team. I mean, it's well documented. I think they have to get that situation rectified. You know what I mean? To be an elite squad, you got to learn how when you punch, team punches back, then you got to counter too. You know what I mean? You got to have a continue to counter. And I think these big games like this, you know what I'm saying? Not Monday night when we're playing the Raiders when we're favored to win the game and we know the Raiders aren't good with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback. Of course, it's easy to go out there with 15 plays and go out there and beat that team. You know what I'm saying? But this is going to be a challenge. This is going to be a game where we could get ahead. They could take the lead. The game could be tied. They could take the lead. We got the ball in the final, 4 minutes of the game down by 7 or 8 points. We're going to have to execute. You know what I'm saying? I think this is going to be that kind of game finally where we're going to have to maybe the final drive is going to have to win this football game or a drive to stop them from scoring to win the game. You know what I mean? I think that's what it's going to really come down to me. So,
Yeah.
When you look at it, Walt, the money line was kind of interesting because I don't think it was a readout yet for Seattle.
Yeah.
And that's telling me it's a movement on Seattle in this game. So people starting to say, probably look at the past history of these two
It
teams.
started at -6, didn't it? Monday. I think the not the money line, but the over, not the over under, but the spread started at -6. if
No,
I'm not
I don't think
mistaken,
it was
Monday.
that. No, I don't think it was that high. I don't
Huh.
think so. I think it came in
Was
at
it four and
three,
a half?
maybe 4.5, four, maybe. It could have. I don't think it was six. I don't think the Lions' offense is playing good enough right now to have that high of a number. But yeah, I mean, it's a movement on this game. I think it's going to be very entertaining, and it's two Monday night games too. So I think this is the better game. So I think people are going to be tuning into this one. So uh,
Yeah. I don't know.
yeah,
It's just a couple of things I want to throw out there about Seattle also, and it's going to be a major key to us and our success in this game. Fourth down percentage, because you know Dan's going to go for it at least two times this game. You talking about fourth down percentage, you talking about third down percentage, and you talking about red zone percentage.
yeah,
Now, outside of the fourth down, third down, red zone percentages are two concerns that we've had within the first 3 weeks of the season. And if you look at Seattle defensively, at the end of the day, I understand they haven't really played too many explosive offenses the first 3 weeks of the season,
yeah.
but this is still a Mike McDonald defense. And as you mentioned at the beginning of the show, we know Mike McDonald from his days at Michigan. We know him for having the number one overall defense in football last year with the Baltimore Ravens. And he has more talent in Seattle than he had in either of those last two stops. And they're really making the most of it. So I'm kind of more prone to lean towards giving Mike McDonald the benefit of the doubt because he picked up in Seattle. And you're talking about right now, Seattle defensively, they rank fourth in the league in third down percentage. They only
Mm,
giving up a first down 26% of the time on third down.
yeah,
Their
something to
fourth down
do.
percentage.
Yeah.
They're third in the league in fourth down percentage. They only give up a first down on fourth down 25% of the time. And then their red zone percentage is 30, which is crazy,
Hmm.
which is fifth in the league right now. So all of that to me points towards okay, Detroit, y'all got to get the rushing game going. We can't have a bunch of third and 11s, third and 12s, third and 13s. We need our third and two, our third and three, even the third and four, because we've proven offensively to be able to scheme up rushing wise a first down on third and four on the
Yeah.
ground. So we don't have to necessarily throw the ball on third and four or third and five the way a lot of have to. But this team has to establish the run game and they have to be able to generate some chunk plays. That's the whole
Yeah.
thing. I don't think we're going to beat Seattle not generating any chunk plays. I don't think we can just 13, 14, 15 play drive our way down the field against this secondary. It's going to be rough because if you can't keep Seattle honest through the air, they're just going to crowd the box on you. That's
Hmm.
it. And
Yeah.
no offensive line wants to work against a stacked box. That's just how it is, man. You must be able to generate something through the air. Um, so like I said, with that being said, man, I'm taking the under on it, under the 46, and I'm
Yeah.
taking Detroit to not cover. I'm going to take Detroit to win the game. I'm just
But
going to
yeah,
take them to not cover.
yeah, close, like a 1 or 2 point
Yeah.
game. I get it. Yeah, heck yeah. I can see where you're coming from. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, when we get into this juncture of the season, I think last game for September. I think now we're going to see, man. Like I said, we're going to see teams start to separate themselves in the next 3 or 4 weeks. You know what I'm saying? And if the Lions can get this game, before the bye week, go into the bye at 3-1. I had them 4-0 at the bye, and then we'll figure it out against the Cowboys. And I was saying the Cowboy at the beginning of the season, I was saying the Cowboys game was a loss, just because not that I think the Cowboys are better. I just think it's just that's not a good place for us all the time, even though low key we beat them last year. But it's something always happen. But now I think I would feel pretty good going into the Dallas game. We get this win, get a bye week. It's early as heck for a bye, but going 3-1, and then you play your next couple games. I think I don't have it in front of me. I think it's Dallas and Green Bay and Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken. So, or Minnesota or something sandwiched in there somewhere. But what I'm saying is this will be a good game to get for the Lions. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, the bye might come at a good time for this team because we got so many injuries right now, and to just have a good taste in your mouth going into the bye. I don't think I was gonna ask you this, like, okay, just say we lose this game and we don't look good doing it. I mean, is it cause for concern? For you, like let's just say we lose the game 23-10 or something with no spark at all. I mean, would you be concerned? You know what I mean, going into a bye week? I mean, what concern? What I'm saying is, like, if we have a lack of pass rush, I mean, you know, would you start really low key trying to make a move? You know what I'm saying? If we don't win this game and them
Probably
same
not.
problems keep coming up. Okay. Yeah.
I just try to throughout a 17 game season. I try to be as level headed as possible. Sunday to Sunday, Monday to Monday. If we went out there Monday night and looked bad, or Seattle just dominated us offensively, or whatever it may be, the offense doesn't look good to me. And I know most fans don't want to hear excuses. I don't view it as an excuse. I would view it as, you know what happened is what was supposed to happen. We was beat up. You talking, and I would look at it honestly like this: our offense struggled the first 3 weeks of the season against lesser defenses.
Yeah.
Why would I be upset if they struggled against the number one defense in football right now? Um, Also, if you look at us defensively, we're missing some people, some key people.
Yeah.
Barnes not going to be there. Davenport not going to be there. A couple other guys won't be there or are just completely nicked up. If Seattle took advantage of that because they have the offensive firepower to take advantage of that, if Seattle took advantage of it and had success, would I be surprised? No. I wouldn't want to see a blowout, but if things got out of hand, I would look at it for what it is in a vacuum. Like, okay, you know what? Like I said, our offense struggled the first 3 weeks against lesser defenses. They struggled against Seattle. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised by that because I do think the numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
The talent on that secondary, the talent that Seattle has on defense doesn't lie. Now they do struggle stopping the run. I just think that right now that doesn't mean that Detroit isn't better than Seattle when fully healthy.
Yeah. Of course.
That
Of course.
doesn't mean
Yeah.
right that Detroit we couldn't catch Seattle later on in the playoffs
And
and,
knock them
and beat
off.
Seattle when
Yeah.
we healthy. Sometimes the better team doesn't always win on Sundays. Everybody as football fans understands that the better team doesn't always win. There's a lot of moving variables and factors that do factor into whether or not you beat a team or not on any given Sunday. I just think that if we did lose to Seattle right now, it wouldn't be a shocker.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not completely at the same. We're not healthy enough. Not saying healthy enough, but at this point in time, it could happen, and I wouldn't be surprised by it. A blowout would be very disappointing. But like I said, if Seattle came here and took advantage of the injuries that we have and they beat us, I wouldn't really be surprised by that at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I did have something else that I did want to point out against Seattle. Well, no, that was pretty much it. That was pretty much it. I
Yeah.
think we kind of covered everything about Seattle in
Yeah.
general.
I just wanted to ask you to ask the question. Like I said, I don't think they're going to lose. I'm just saying if they do, then just what was your thoughts on it? But yeah, we get into these other games, Walt, before we can get out of here. These the other picks that we had, this new segment that we trying to do here. What was it? It was Pittsburgh, no,
Oh, I
Denver and the
got you.
Jet, Denver and the Jets. Um, yeah, this Denver and Jets game that's coming up here. Uh, Jets 8-point favorites. You know what I'm saying? At home, they haven't looked great. But it seems like last week, it seems like Aaron Rodgers starting to find some footing. You know what I'm saying, within this team, with this scheme, this offense. Um, I over and under 38 and a half on this one. Right now, I think when I gave you this number before you did the graphics, I think it was 39. So it went down a point, which is no big deal. Money line is Denver right now at plus 330. The Jets are minus 425. So, obviously, to make some money on this thing, you probably want to pick Denver. You know what I mean? I listen, I'm an Aaron Rodgers believer. I don't think that he's washed up yet. You know what I'm saying? I've heard some people say he's done already. To me, it just seems like he's just not comfortable yet. And I think that this is the week. Even though I like Bo Nix, I like Bo Nix. That was a guy in the draft. I was saying that I think he's a little bit better than what people give him credit for. But and I like any team offensively that has Sean Payton as their coach. I think they can be able to score and they will figure it out. But I don't think this is the year yet for the Broncos to be, you know, uh, really like
Yeah,
knocking off teams that playoff teams yet. I don't think they're there yet. You know what I'm saying? And that's no harm in saying that. I think Braylon Allen at running back with Brees Hall. I think that's a damn good 1-2 punch for the Jets. We all like Garrett Wilson, one of the top receivers in the league, talent wise. Just a magician. On the field, man. Over and under, I like the under still because I like you said, I think the Jets, what I'm saying, I don't think the Jets have figured it out yet to put up 40 on anybody. I think their defense is good enough they can hold teams. But this is the reason why I picked this game. If you see any NFL game with anything over 8 points, stay the heck away from it. You know what I'm saying? Because these teams are good enough where they're not getting beat by that much. Sometimes you get a team. Well, we see it every week. Somebody gets smashed, but the line isn't that high. If a team loses 40 to
right.
15 or something like that, the line wasn't minus 20 coming into the game. You know what I'm saying? This one's high. I think this one was high, and I think Kansas City was high this week too. But I think I picked this one because I think the Jets gonna cover that number, man. I think they're gonna smash the Broncos this week.
Woo!
Just my opinion. Like I said, I've been all with low key. I've been a Broncos fan. I like the Broncos, but I don't think right now they're ready for it yet. You know what I'm saying? I think the Jets getting ready to get their stuff.
Yeah.
Get rolling. I think Aaron Rodgers. This is time to get rolling with this team. I think they get right. The over and under, I think it probably will go over. I'm gonna say it's gonna go over, and I'm gonna take the Jets. Well, in this one.
Mm. Okay. I'm gonna look at this. I think right now, and neither team has played any juggernauts really offensively, and we discussed that when we were discussing the correlation between Seattle and Detroit and common opponent or this and that. But both of these defenses have played top 10. Like both of these defenses are top
Yeah.
10 in the league in multiple categories right now. You're
Yeah.
also dealing with Bo Nix, a rookie quarterback. You're also dealing with Aaron Rodgers, who didn't play at all last season except for 2 plays before he got hurt. He's kind of up in age. Ain't no kind of, he is up in age. Father Time, I believe, is working against him as well. He looks adequate. That's the whole thing. And comparing him to what they had last season is Zach Wilson is like night and day.
Yeah.
So he's at least adequate. Is he Green Bay Aaron Rodgers? No.
No, he's not.
So, and I think that Jets offense is still kind of trying to find their way.
Yeah.
I think you pair both quarterback situations, Bo Nix and Aaron Rodgers, with the fact that both of these defenses have performed pretty decent. They performed at a top 10 level the first 3 weeks of the season. I think this is going to be another low scoring game. I'm going to take the under. I'm not going to take the under by much. I'm going to take it somewhere like around 20 to 17. And I'm going to take the Jets because the Jets are at home. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take the Jets 20 to 17. There we have it.
Yeah. Yeah. Fine. Yeah. I like that. Okay. And then our second game we got here, man. Very interesting game. Pittsburgh and the Colts. Super talented um rosters, I think, on both these teams, man. I think the Pittsburgh's drafted well the last couple of years as well as the Colts. We got the Steelers coming in. I was two. Oh, okay, 1.5. It was one and a half earlier in the week. Over and under is 40. I think this game will be under. Man, it's hard. I'm taking the Steelers though, man. I was going back and forth. I like the Colts. I like the
Mm-hmm.
talent on their squad. But I believe, first of all, I believe Mike Tomlin doesn't get a lot of credit. I mean, this is the thing. He gets a lot of crap when they lose. Everybody like Mike Tomlin done lost his team. They got no discipline. He ain't coaching his team, blah, blah, blah. But when they win, it just seemed like it gets looked over constantly. You know what I'm saying? This guy is all he does is win with this team, man. And he's got himself another good team again. I mean, the Steelers offensively, they got some issues. We all know that. You know what I'm saying? But I think they made the right decision. I'm glad Justin Fields is the guy that's the quarterback for this team, because ultimately he's better than Russell Wilson. I mean, I don't know if Justin Fields, I'm not saying that he's the second coming of Michael Vick or anything like that, but what I am saying is he's better than Russell Wilson right now, man. I mean, and they made the right decision. I'm glad that they didn't. And Tomlin is Tomlin ain't a guy that you're going to be able to bully around anyway, so he can't get pressured by their fan base or anything by playing a for sure veteran. You know what I'm saying? A guy who won rings, and Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson kind of did it to him and made the decision for him, but I don't think he was going to be intimidated by anybody saying play the veteran, that type thing. And I think it was the right choice. You know what I'm saying? As far as the Colts go, the jury's still out on Anthony Richardson. You know what I'm saying? He's got,
Yeah.
you know how I feel about him, man. He's got all the talent in the world. Reminds me of a young Dante Culpepper, you know, to me, you know, the way he throws the rock effortlessly and able to make some plays with his feet. I just think this is a very intriguing game, but it's going to be under. I'm taking the Steelers. I think they're going to go in there and win, but I think the Colts going to be there at the end here. Playoff wise in that division, because they are in the division with Jacksonville, which I think Jacksonville's in shambles right now. So I think they can get right, you know what I'm saying, with a couple wins against them in the division. But this is a game, Walt, I see Pittsburgh winning this game, low scoring. You know, I can see a couple turnovers, you know, maybe a pick six for a touchdown or something like that for the Steelers. So I'm taking Pittsburgh and the under.
All right, I'm taking Pittsburgh, and I'm taking Pittsburgh over.
Okay.
Um, the Colts, they haven't surrendered a lot of points the first 3 weeks of the season, but statistically, defensively, they have been bad. I'm talking
Yeah.
about against the run, against the pass, everything. They haven't been good at all. You pair that with the fact that, okay, I understand the Steelers haven't been outright explosive offensively, but they've taken care of the football and they've done just enough offensively to win these games. I think that's
Yeah.
what's going to happen today. I think defensively, Pittsburgh, top 10 in the league in damn near every category right now. They haven't played the most explosive offenses as well, neither. But I just think right now, and I co-sign everything you just said about Mike Tomlin, that team, the culture, what they have going on right now. They just needed a guy that could make some plays from time to time and not just give possessions away. And that's what Kenny Pickett was
Yeah.
for them the last couple seasons. Justin Fields is coming along slowly. He's obviously maturing as a quarterback, I think, from the pocket. He looks a lot more comfortable. He looks a lot more happy where he's at right now. And I think Justin's going to be a damn good player once we start looking into like week 12, week 13 and whatnot. And if Pittsburgh's still alive, playoff time, which we believe they will be, is going to be because of him and his play, I also believe. But I just think that, if you look at the Colts, it's a bad matchup for them right now. That Steeler defense, that pass rush, what they have going on right now, the fact that the Colts are so bad defensively right now, I think the Steelers will be able to generate some plays against them. I think it's a bad matchup for the Colts right now. So I'm going to take the over. I think the Steelers beat them big.
Mm-hmm.
Is Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
I love the talent. He's leading the league in picks right now. And he's been inaccurate with the football. As much as I like Anthony Richardson and I defend Anthony Richardson to a lot of people, he has to take better care of the football. Now, one thing I will say is this: he's only played 8 games in his career. He got hurt early last season. This is like honestly his rookie season.
Yeah.
So he's still coming along, but that team is 1-2. I just think Pittsburgh's a bad matchup for him defensively
Yeah. Yep. They
right
don't know how
now.
to scheme it up. Yeah. Yep.
I think the Steelers are going to give Anthony Richardson a bunch of problems today.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to take this. I'm going to take the over mainly because I think the Steelers are going to take most of that over. I got the Steelers somewhere around 28-14.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that's a real good point right there. Because I think what's his name, Shane Steichen, right? He's
Mm-hmm. Yep.
the head coach of the Colts. Total offensive guy. You know what I'm saying? I think they got some nice pieces over there, man.
The running back, the wide receivers.
Running back, wide receiver ratio. Good offensive line, decent offensive line. So I think that, like you said, they will surrender some points though if you put them in some compromising positions. We play the Colts here coming up, later on in the season, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Yep.
yeah, it's going to be interesting. I watch, teams that the Lions, potentially play during the season as well, and I'm keeping my eye on this game. And that's why I picked it, because I think it's well documented that, like I said, the Steelers and Mike Tomlin and people are just saying that, they didn't have he doesn't have it anymore as a coach. And it's like, are you kidding me? I mean, Mike Tomlin's one of the top eight coaches in the league, you ask me. I mean, I don't know. The constant, I think that he's so direct and so, like, with the media, just like putting everybody in their place a lot. And he'll give people a good soundbite. Mike Tomlin will check somebody
Oh,
in a
if
minute,
Mike
man.
ain't feeling it, he gonna
Yeah.
let you know.
Yeah, yeah. I love Mike Tomlin, man. I think he's one of my favorite coaches. So, anyways, but the Steelers gonna win this game. We both agree on that. So,
I
um,
got a couple things about the injury report too for the Colts that kind of swayed me in that direction. Best cornerback Kenny Moore did
mhm.
not practice all week dealing with a hip injury. He's out. Quiddy Pay, former Michigan Wolverine, did not practice all week dealing with a quadricep. He's out.
Yeah,
And one of their best offensive linemen, one of the better centers in football when he's healthy, Ryan Kelly, did not practice dealing with a neck injury. So
yeah.
there's a lot, I think, pointing in the direction that, Pittsburgh, and I like the Colts. I think the Colts are a very tough, scrappy team.
Hmm.
Despite the fact they didn't have their young franchise quarterback a year ago, they still managed to come within the final week, or was it final 2 weeks of,
Yeah,
of grabbing a playoff spot under
yeah.
Gardner Minshew. So that's a very tough, scrappy football team, despite the fact that they don't have a lot of household names defensively or offensively. I just think right now, man, Richardson's got to play better. And I just don't think this is the defense for him to get better against.
Nope. He'll be running for his
It's
life. You
it's
know what I'm
not.
saying? Yeah. Yep. Yep. Before we get out here, we have yep, there we go. My man. Anytime touchdowns. I like this segment here because I like the plus 220 for JMO. I think this is something that, you could probably capitalize on this. You know what I'm saying? With Jameson Williams, listen, he was a non-factor last week. I think Goff maybe threw in his direction one or two times. I could see a scenario where he could spring a big play. I'm not saying the whole night, because we know how talented that secondary is with Seattle, but I think that we could, especially early in the game, set the tone that, we can throw it deep. Maybe, Williams gets free and gets one. You know what I'm saying? That's the only rationale I'm thinking of with this game, with Jameson Williams. But, you know, test them, man. Test them, guys. Devin Weatherspoon, damn good cover corner. You know what I'm saying? But, go deep, especially early in the game. I could see a scenario where the Lions go deep and try to, connect with Jameson Williams sometime at some point during that game.
Man, leave Woolen alone.
Yeah, that's your guy. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I wouldn't test him because I know what Tariq Woolen is. You know what I'm saying? He Spider-Man back there, basically. Catches you can't get around him. You can't out jump him. You can't,
You can't
what I'm
outrun
saying?
them.
Can't outrun him. You know what I'm saying? You could maybe try to get him with a slant, with like a pick play. I would try maybe like a pick play with JMO and try to see if you can get somebody to shield him off for a second to spring JMO loose. You know what I mean? I think that might be the only thing you can do in that situation. And then with Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, when I seen DraftKings had Jahmyr Gibbs with what was a play at plus 330, man, to get 40 receiving yards. I mean, man, that just seemed like a dinner bell to me. You know what I'm saying? To capitalize on that. You know what I'm saying? Because Jahmyr Gibbs is 50% our offense, I think, right now. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And I think that, as Gibbs goes, this offense goes, man. I think he's people say it's St. Brown. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is the key to this whole thing. I take the back. It's David Montgomery, but Gibbs can open up some things for the other guys, you know what I'm saying, on the outside. And he could, the dynamic player as he is, for him to get 40 rushing yards, I think that he can get that, you know what I'm saying, in this game. So just a couple little tidbits there, you know what I'm saying, if anybody into that, you know what I'm saying. DraftKings is what I get all my information from. So again, bet responsibly. It's only my opinion. You know what I'm saying? If it don't happen, don't get upset at me. But it's just that's what it is. If you want to have some
Ashanti,
fun.
you
So
told me to bet this.
yeah, yeah, yeah. People at my doorstep knocking on my door
I watched
saying
your
that.
stupid show.
Yeah. And
It's gonna
you
become stupid all of a sudden.
all of a sudden, yeah, you don't know what you're
I
talking
watched your
about.
dumbass
Yeah,
show.
no, right.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, we think I think we dive deep into these games, man. We about to get even deeper into these games over the next few weeks.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I just think getting back to our game because it is Lions Avenue. We give people a couple bonus games every Sunday. I mean every Saturday as well. But yeah, I just know you're looking at Seattle, man. It's a tall task, and I just believe that it's not going to be the 39-34,
No.
48-41 Detroit Seattle games we've seen the last couple visits that they had up here. I think it's going to be an ugly game. You're talking about Monday night. We're gonna be in the black uniforms. I think that's another reason we're gonna win. we're gonna be
Yeah.
in the black uniforms. It's gonna be too much. Like I said, sometimes the better team doesn't always win, but
Mhm.
sometimes a team can be going through injuries. And I think we're still a damn good football team at heart, culture-wise, the core. So I don't expect them to go out there and get blown out by Seattle either.
No.
But like I said, sometimes when you're going through injuries, and players can attest to this, as a team, you can be going through injuries. A team can be better than you schematically. They can be better than you on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes riding the wave of that home crowd can get you over the hump. Same thing in basketball. I think
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah. It
playing at
plays a
home,
role. It
and
plays a
plus
role.
role players play better at home
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
too.
Yeah, yeah. It's good. Like I said, I think Jared Goff is comfortable. He can because he hasn't looked comfortable yet. So you got to believe that it's gonna break. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna break out of it, and it doesn't matter the team. You know what I'm saying? I think for him, I think it's just confidence. You know what I'm saying? I think for him, it's just like knowing his guy's gonna be there, and for when he lets that ball go, knowing
Man,
and
we've talked about that. Enough of that. We
yeah,
we need, and we talked about this during the off season. We need Jared Goff to be a version of Jared Goff we've never seen in his career.
mhm,
I need him to loosen up.
yeah,
For
yeah,
to a lesser extent, and I understand we may not want to ask him this because when we ask Jared to loosen up, he turns the ball over.
mhm,
But
yeah,
we need you to be gunslinger golf, not stupid gunslinger golf. But we need you to be. We made the comparison with Kurt Warner and Ricky Pro. Like, can I depend on you to make a throw that makes me say, "Oh, you know what? I didn't think he had it in him." We need him to play a little bit looser because you can go back and watch the All 22. There's times where Jamison Williams is open. And one
uh-huh,
of our listeners made this point. I think it was Corey Patterson made this point in our last show. There's times where Jamison Williams is streaking open and Golf just won't pull the trigger.
yeah,
And you out there taking sacks, or you out there, it's 3rd and 12. You got JMO open, but you don't either trust your arm to get the ball there, or you don't trust JMO, or you just maybe it's just part of his personality. He's just not that type of quarterback. But you said it all off season. I said it. We need Jared Goff. If this team is going to go to another level, we need our quarterback to play at another level. We hold the defense accountable. We've said for years that if we're going to be better, Aaron Glenn has to be better as a coordinator. The defense has to be better. We got to upgrade the talent on defense. We need the offensive line to play better. I understand all that. We need Ben Johnson to call better games. I understand that. We need Dan Campbell to grow as a game manager. I understand that. We also need our quarterback to play at a higher level.
yeah.
And the level he's playing at right now ain't cutting it.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that and he can be that guy. I think he can. I mean, I'm like you said, he can be. Is he now? No, but we've seen like transfer, like, and I don't know Lamar if he's watching, probably gonna laugh on me saying this, but I can't believe I'm using Sam Darnold, right? So Sam Darnold like kicked to the curb. Like I don't think Sam Darnold's very good. You know what I'm saying? But he's giving everybody the middle finger right now. It's working right now. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is players could get unlocked to another level by coaching, by just I think a lot to do with it
Are you
is
saying
time.
we need to hire Kevin O'Connell?
No, I ain't
the
saying that. No, I ain't saying.
the golf whisperer.
But yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying. It's
Yeah,
unlocked. It's in there. It can be done. I don't think we're saying something impossible. We're not saying like we were trying to break through on something that can't be done. We've seen Jared Goff play a different level, but right now he's not, and I think the team is not for offensively. I think the whole team is like not. And then he's the guy that stirs the drink too. David Montgomery been the MVP of this team. Period. Without Dave Montgomery, we don't win
of
the two
course.
games
Yeah.
that we won. You know what I'm saying? I mean that's almost scary to think about that. If you're a Lions fan, do you care? But I just think they'll be fine. But you don't want to be 3-3 with two losses to two teams that you trying to leapfrog. You don't want to be like 3-3 with two games not at hand until you figure out what you're doing, and then you're playing catch up at that point. You know what I'm saying, Walt? Then you find
You know what?
yourself with 10, 11 wins at the end of the season, but you got two losses against Tampa and Seattle, two teams that are ahead of you in the standings. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we say it's a big game, because these two teams, it's this Seattle team, we would figure that's going to be in the playoff race. So
I want to ask you one last thing because we did get into a golf conversation. I think every show turns into a golf conversation because when you're content creating about a football team, quarterback is the most polarized position on the field. Um, I want to go back to golf with the Rams
uh-huh.
and McVay.
Yeah.
The reason, and they were winning games just like Detroit. I just want Lions fans to understand this. The Rams reached the Super Bowl with Jared Goff. They were having playoff success with Jared Goff. The reason McVay moved on from Goff was because he felt like he couldn't open up his playbook with Jared Goff. He felt that Jared Goff left a lot of points on the field, left a lot of players on the field, which is something you and I discussed in our last show about needing him to open up more because even if you're not mobile, I don't even care about him not being mobile.
Yeah.
If he took more chances, if he didn't leave as many points on the field as he does, as many big completions on the field as he does, I could care less about him not being mobile. Do you think there's a possibility where we could turn into what the Rams were? Because I understand Lions fans like we're having success with Jared Goff. They made the wrong choice and this and that. First of all, they didn't make the wrong choice because ultimately they achieved what they set out to do. The Rams felt that, at least McVay felt that he could open up his playbook with Matthew Stafford.
Mm-hmm.
And when he got Stafford over there, the yards per attempt went up. The chunk plays in the passing game went up. The touchdown passes went up. Stafford, I think, threw for 40 plus touchdowns that year.
Yeah.
Everything through the air went up, and they went on to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's still early, but this is year 4, so I'm not going to say it's still early. This is year 4 for golf here. Do you think there's a possibility that we could become what the Rams were towards the end of the era when golf was there? And it's like, we just can't get there because we can't open up our playbook with him.
Well, I think that this is why Ben Johnson was brought back, though. I think that they realized under Ben Johnson, I mean, Goff, let's be honest, Goff has had his best years of his career, you know what I'm saying, under Ben Johnson. I think it was huge that Ben Johnson stayed, and I don't think it was just a giveaway, just a slam dunk that he was going to come back and coach, you know what I'm saying? So, come back to this team because it was a foregone conclusion that Ben Johnson was probably going to be a head coach somewhere.
Carolina or Washington
Carolina,
somewhere.
yeah. So yeah, I think that Goff with Ben Johnson, with the leadership we have, I think that he's a guy that definitely can get the job done. It's just not firing on all cylinders right now. Like I said, I don't see. I think the Jared Goff we see at the end of the season would be way different from the one we have now. You know what I'm saying? Not I won't say marginally because we know his tendency. He's been here long enough. Like you said, we know he's not.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. Like,
yeah, to answer your question, Walt, I think it's a combination of things. I think that yes, he can be the guy that lead us to where we need to go. You know what I'm saying? I really do believe that. I mean, I don't feel confident saying it right now, but I'm saying from what I've seen since he's been here, you know what I'm saying. I think that it's he's got to play better than what he's better than what he's played the first 3 games of this season. So the next step is this is what I see happening. Like down the road, like he's going to be able to match when Jordan Love's coming back, okay? And when you play the Packers, you're going to have to match Jordan Love. You're going to I'm not worried about,
A
you know,
guy who can make big plays when it's not schemed up.
yeah, right, exactly. So I just think that and we're gonna get a lot of people that says we're golf haters or anything like that. And I'm not. We're not golf haters. It's just I'm telling you, just telling the truth about the situation, man. He has to elevate. If the Lions want to win a Super Bowl,
Yards after catch.
he's gonna be able to have to elevate his play. That's all. That was all the point you were trying to make. You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah, and I think some listeners are confused in what I'm saying. I'm talking about as far as can we open up our playbook? Passing yards can be misleading. Stafford was throwing for over 4,000 yards, but Stafford was getting his yards pushing the ball downfield for the most part. You go back to last year's stats. Yes, Goff threw for some yards. A lot of that was yards after the catch. All you got to do is look at where he's throwing the football,
yeah,
what type of routes we're running offensively. Let's be honest. We can defend Goff as much as we choose to defend him. Numbers don't lie, and our eyes don't lie. How often do you see us push the ball downfield? When was the last time you seen a deep post? When's the last time you seen a corner route, or a deep out? There are certain throws that Jared Goff aren't really good at, and those are throws that are missing from our offense.
yeah,
That's the whole thing. The whole point that I'm trying to prove, man, is that we can point the numbers, but the eyes don't lie.
yeah,
We don't have any big plays in our offense right now. So
yeah,
that's been my big question is, can he be that?
yeah,
Because it's difficult to win games in the NFL, and that's why we only scoring 20 points right now. We don't generate a lot of chunk plays. It's a lot of 11, 12, 13 play drives. So that was my whole thing about it is, can we open up our offense? Because if we can lie and say it's fine and say everything is okay, but it's not okay
yeah,
because our offense isn't opened up right now.
yeah.
So can he be that type of person? That's my whole thing.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And like you said, he hasn't played, up to Jared Goff standards. And listen, and for every time we give him a bad game, I listen. He was the reason why that surge when we went 9-8 didn't make the playoffs. He spearheaded that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie. On the field as a leader, getting us through those tough games, winning in Green Bay, starting off the following season, the playoff season. Listen, he won the division title. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like, he doesn't have, his resume. He doesn't have things under his belt that he's achieved. He has, you know what I'm saying, under the Lions, under this coaching staff. You know what I mean? But we talking bigger picture now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why of course, Jared Goff is good if you want to win the division and get bounced in the playoffs. We talking about
Championship
elevating.
good.
We over championship golf. There we go. So
Yeah.
let's see.
All right. We both got to get out of here. It's Saturday. I want to thank everybody for joining us. We have a couple people. I just want to get to one question real quick, one comment from Divine Comedy, because they were gracious enough to join us. They had a quick question about the rushing attack for Seattle. Here we go. Are the Seahawks bad versus the run, or just game planning differently every week? I think New England, if you're talking about the New England game, New England had a conscious effort to run the ball on them. Everybody's not going to try that against Seattle. So I think that's what happened. I think Detroit is going to put forth a conscious effort to run the ball on them as well. So I think you can expect something similar to what New England was able to do to them offensively. Geno is elite in the drop back game. He don't need play action. We gonna see, because his track record don't necessarily prove that consistently. But hey, here we go. Oh, this must be it's a Seahawks fan.
It gotta
Don't
be.
confuse him for golf.
Yeah, it's gotta be Seattle fan. Yeah.
Yeah, they both for the same tier. We're gonna really be honest about it. But hey, it's our guy done one more.
Yeah.
I got in one more. So, all right, let's get on out of here, man. We will be back. Actually, no, we won't be back Monday. We'll be at the game
Yeah, we
Monday.
going to the game. Can't wait, man. Yeah, can't wait.
Yep. So I guess we'll be back Tuesday to break the game down for everybody. And till next time, have a wonderful Saturday.